Every now and then we take a detour away from PSVR2 over to PCVR. We've been doing this for a good year or so now, because there are a lot of good PCVR games that come and go, and Fast Travel Games got in touch with me a little while ago to cover one of these games. Now, today we're looking at a 2v3 horror PvP game that takes the essence of prop hunt and adds its own spin to it. Oh, fucking hell, that scared the That's the best I can describe today's game, Mannequin, without delving even further. So, if you're down for it, let's take a look at why this game has kind of blown me away, why it should have more players, and why I'd love to see it on PSVR2 even though the plans for that are unconfirmed. Before we get into it though, we have just hit 10k subs, and if you do feel like subbing to help us get to our next goal of 20, that would be unreal. But anyway, let's talk about Mannequin. As I said, Mannequin is a PvP game where you're put either into the shoes of an agent who are traversing a map looking for a shape-shifting alien that can freeze itself in time and blend in with its environment, or you play as one of these aliens, trying to do your best prop hunt impression to not be found by the agents, and eventually surprise and touch them, freezing them and taking them out of the round. As the agents, you have access to a scanner, which lets you know when one of these aliens is nearby, a sort of pulse beacon that you can use once per round to reveal a certain area, to reveal any aliens there, and a gun, which is recharged using generators around the map. The aliens can go around and siphon energy from these generators to then power them up and give them access to a visual enhancement that shows them where the agents are around the map, and vice versa. Agents can defend these points, and doing so will give them a heads up as to where the aliens are when they're in their scan mode. This premise works really well and actually leads to some really terrifying moments when you're being jumped as an agent trying to defend yourself. The core gameplay loop really reminds me a bit of the opening stages of a mission in Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord, except a lot more intense and dark. You're traipsing around hallways with your scanner out looking for any signs of life, while also trying to be very careful not to get yourself killed. If you are unfortunately taken out of action though, a teammate can come and touch you to revive you, and this works for both teams. The round is won if one side defeats the other, and the whole match is won when a certain number of rounds goes to a certain team. This format can get a bit repetitive though, and after a couple of hours of playing, I did find myself getting a little tired of the same old formula, although this game is still in early access and they have just added a couple more modes, like Infection and some more social type lobbies, encouraging all players to interact with each other. So they definitely are building on that basis and making sure that the game doesn't get boring over time. And there's a reason that this is in early access, so this feedback can be given now. Visually, Mannequin looks pretty great. From the opening tutorials, there's a vivid art style here that looks realistic, but also alien and out there, which I think is perfect. Each of the game's 4 maps maintain this style, and it runs flawlessly on my 6700 XT based PC. And each of these maps are filled with frozen humans. The lore behind this is that the aliens have frozen time and the agents are immune to this due to the suits that they're wearing. So as an agent, you're going through these maps with frozen humans everywhere, not knowing which one could be a mannequin and which one isn't. And you can tell the devs had a lot of fun posing these humans around in different environments and different actions, which also encourages the mannequin players to get creative with their poses to not be spotted. Another great area here is the sound design of Mannequin. It's really atmospheric and inventive. As the agents, you'll hear the sounds of shifting mannequins around you, whether they're above, below, or to the side of you, and wearing a good pair of headphones really enhances your ability in the game because you can tell exactly when somebody shifted and go chasing after them. On the flip side of that, if you're a mannequin and being hunted by agents, you can tell where they are by the signature breathing that they have through their masks, and this honestly makes being a mannequin slightly terrifying as well. Even though when a mannequin jumps out at you as an agent and scares the living shit out of you, you can also be caught off guard as a mannequin when an agent rounds a corner and you hear that signature breathing. It can really take you off guard, and I think that's good that both sides have something to be afraid of and something to heighten the tension as the rounds go on. What doesn't heighten the tension though is that there are quite a few Quest kids, as we call them, on this game due to it being cross-compatible with Quest and PC, and hopefully if it ever comes to PSVR2 as well. On the positive side of that, it means you can find a match pretty much any time of the day, even if there aren't loads of people online. I've played from 2 PM in the afternoon to 11 AM in the morning here in Britain to when it's most populated at night, and I managed to find a game within 2 or so minutes at the most. Obviously this isn't representative of all regions, but being in Europe, I didn't really have too much trouble. However, yeah, you are going to have some kids being a bit screamy. Luckily, most of my lobbies were pretty chill, but it is something to think about if you really can't stand that Quest Kid style of demographic. It definitely is present here. The game also retails for about $20, so if for the couple of maps and the slightly repetitive gameplay after a little while that seems a bit steep, then that's also fair enough. Finally, I'd love to see Mannequin come to PSVR 2 for a couple of reasons. I think the haptics could make the motion tracker style mechanic work really well. Imagine the haptics going off in your hands as you get closer to a mannequin. I think that would be wonderful on the PSVR 2. Also, when you get frozen, when a mannequin touches you, the head haptics could go off. Stuff like that really makes me imagine how great a game like this could be on PSVR 2. So maybe at full launch, they can look at it. The visual style will also pop on the OLED panels. I think it'll look great. So if they are considering it, please, 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 upon 1.0 release, bring it over to PlayStation. That would be amazing. But as it stands, I really enjoyed the atmosphere of Mannequin. Time will tell if the slightly repetitive gameplay will hold up over the next couple of hours of playtime. But so far, I've been really enjoying it, and it's one of the ones where you'll have to come back and play it in bursts rather than sitting down and playing it for about 2 hours, because it will get repetitive then. But I've enjoyed my time with it. Some great atmosphere, great sound design, and unique gameplay makes this one of Fast Travel's most ingenious, but maybe not one of its most replayable. Thank you all for watching. What do you think of Mannequin? Will you be picking it up? Do you hope for it to come to PSVR 2? Thank you to our patrons and YouTube members: Luke Bentley, Phil Irving, Hazit Mirza, Ace Gamer, Hippie Pickle, Jen007, A License to Chill, Sun, WTF, Piosco, and Fat Controllers. If you want to join the Patreon, YouTube membership, or the Discord, all those links are down below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.